Please be seated. Good afternoon. The UAB School of Health Professions welcomes you to our second graduate professional programs hooding ceremony. On behalf of the University of Alabama Board of Trustees, the officers of the University of the Alabama System, and the school's faculty, staff, students, and administration, we want to offer a special welcome to each one of you here today, especially to our graduates and their family and friends. We are joined today by a group of distinguished individuals that I would like to introduce who are sitting on our stage, and I ask those introduced to remain standing once your name is called, and I will ask the audience, if you would you please withhold your applause until I have introduced all of them. First of all, the University of Alabama System Vice Chancellor Charles Nash, UAB Provost Linda Lucas, UAB Graduate School Dean Lori McMahon, members of the School of Health Professions Executive Committee, Katie Adams, Senior Director for Development, Patrick McNeese, Associate Dean for Research, Midge Ray, Assistant Dean for Undergraduate Honors and Research, Donna Slavinsky, Senior Associate Dean for Academic and Faculty Affairs, Tracy Senko, Assistant Dean for Student Recruitment, Engagement, and Success, and Interim Chair of Clinical and Diagnostic Sciences, Peter Anderson, and a former Program Director, Associate Professor, and UAB's Quality Enhancement Program Director in the Healthcare Administration area, Pam Postian. Please join me in welcoming this accomplished group of administrators. We're also joined today by a number of outstanding faculty members within our school. All of these faculty have been involved in various ways in the mentoring, in the teaching, in the leadership, and in working with our many students who are graduating today. At this time, I would like, because of the opportunities they provided and the guidance they provided our students, I would like for them to stand so that we can recognize their contributions to these students who are graduating today. So faculty members, wherever you are, would you please stand? I'm going to do something that my staff does not like me to do. I'm going to go off script for just a second. And that's simply the fact that I want to take a moment here at the beginning of the ceremony to realize and recognize the fact that all of us on our journeys in life are supported by a wide variety of people. We've talked about faculty. We've talked about all kinds of people who play a role in your life to help you get where you are. But almost all of you who are here who are graduating today have people here who are family or friends, people who have contributed to your life and have made this journey possible for you. So what I would really appreciate at this particular point in time, if we would ask those people who are friends, family members in the audience to please stand, and I'd like our graduates to give them a thank you. Thank you so much for all you have done for these students and our graduates today. Graduates, today marks both the ending of your educational experience, one characterized by rigorous study, research, and service, and the beginning or the commencement of the very promising professional careers that lie before you. In the classrooms, in the laboratories, and in clinical settings, you've already excelled in programs that are ranked among the nation's best. Outside the classroom, you have also excelled, showing a strong commitment to service to your community and to your profession. You've worked with the faculty and the staff in the School of Health Professions to actually build 2 Habitat for Humanity homes over the past 2 years. And you've provided numerous hours of work and other outreach efforts in your community and around the world. You know, the vision of our school, that's your school, is to be recognized as the leading school of health professions in the world. Pretty ambitious. Shaping the future of healthcare. As you join the ranks of our school's alums who are accomplished healthcare professionals and leaders around our state and nation, you are equipped with the education, the dedication, and the commitment to service needed to shape the future of healthcare in the communities in which we live. Achieving our school's vision of shaping this future of healthcare ultimately depends on what you do. And we are confident, based on what we have seen, what you have shown us over your time with us, that you will become the leaders of our professions and the leaders of our communities and the leader of our nation and world that will shape the future of healthcare. We cannot wait to see what you accomplish in the future to make healthcare, and for that matter, the world around us better for all. So congratulations on this day of your graduation. I'm very pleased now to introduce our commencement speaker, Sharon Lovoy. Sharon is a widely accomplished and talented individual. She's a certified mediator through Harvard's law program and a certified master trainer in the area of crucial conversations, both of which are really critical if you're ever going to hold leadership positions. She's also an expert in really all things related to Myers-Briggs, or the Myers-Briggs typing exams, which means that when she meets you, she probably knows more about you than you know about yourself. So be careful in the reception later on. She owns her own consulting firm, has written extensively in books related to consulting, and assisted more than 300 clients worldwide, including Mercedes-Benz and the Southern Company. She's received awards for excellence in teaching and now serves as a member of our school's advisory board. But before I bring her up, I must also add that when you look at her resume, you will also find out that there are some other things about her. She's a fitness guru. She's a Zumba enthusiast. She has appeared in the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, and she's performed at Carnegie Hall. So please join me in welcoming one of the most unique people I know and a person that I'm really proud to call a true friend, Sharon Lovoy. Sharon?
Thank you, Dean Jones, for that wonderfully unique introduction. You know, there's all kinds of stories that are told in commencement speeches, ranging from go out and change the world to the world's a tough place and you better get ready for it. But instead, I want to tell you a very personal story of the impact the UAB School of Health Professions is making through two of its graduates. It is, in fact, a love story. It started in December of 1990 when a male School of Health Professions student was sitting in class and he looked across the room and he saw this girl in a purple vest and a black hat. And he thought, she's the most beautiful girl that I've ever seen. And he said to his friend sitting next to him, I'm going to marry that girl. And his friend said, yeah, right, she is so way out of your league. But the following January, they did start dating. It then progressed from, I love you, to will you marry me? And they got married December the 5th, 1992. The next day, they both graduated from UAB School of Health Professions. He immediately went to work for Kirkland Clinic and she for St. Vincent's, where she stayed for 15 years, taking a little time off here and there to have 3 great kids. He stayed at UAB for 3 years, then moved to the Shelby Baptist Health System, and she eventually moved to a clinic on Highway 280, and both of them devoted their lives to being director of physical therapy clinics, continuing to use the great skills they learned at UAB. But the love story continued because their patients fell in love with them. They mindfully made partnerships with their patients and used different ways to connect to them. Yes, they used prayer. They worked with them to deal with depression that you often face when you're going through physical therapy due to illness or surgery. And in short, their goal was to set them up for success. They never set a timer and walked away from the patient saying, holler at me when it goes off. They instead sat down with that patient during that time to get to know them as people, to ask questions about the patient's lifestyles, and determine what's keeping the patient from being successful. They made sure the patients had accountability partners to keep them encouraged when the therapy gets boring or they feel frustrated. They gave two of the greatest gifts of all, which is listening and attention. But rather than hand out photocopies of exercises that sometimes can't be read, they creatively used their patients' smartphones to take videos of them doing their own exercises so they can recall how to do it correctly. They never referred to the patients as the back patient or the knee patient. They never went on autopilot. When doctors would ask their own patients who they wanted to see for PT, the patient's answers usually range from, I don't know, to not that clinic over there. Because the doctors were so happy with the results their patients were receiving from these two people, they sent more patients to the clinic on 280, and the clinic grew, and they added 2 more therapists as a result of that. Sessions often ended with patient-initiated hugs, and "I love you" was shouted by the patients as they left the clinic. Patients talked about how they were treated as they were being treated. But then tragedy struck this couple. I found out about this tragedy from one of my friends. This friend had Sherry Taylor Hyde as his physical therapist after his back surgery. He talked about the brain aneurysm that Sherry suffered on the night of February 21st of this year. I had never heard Sherry's name, but I do know her husband, Ross Hyde, because of the great therapy I'd gotten at one of his clinics. My friend talked about the way that Sherry was not just his physical therapist, but she was also his friend. Sherry told her husband, Ross, that night that he was going to lose her because she could feel her life slipping away, and she knew she was in trouble. She eventually ended up at UAB hospital where she was given emergency surgery. But during the surgery, another artery ruptured and she essentially had 2 massive strokes. There was a plan that she would be in intensive care for 2 weeks, a step-down room for a week, then moved to a rehab hospital. But there's something about Sherry. Given her drive, she short-circuited these plans, was out of ICU in 8 days, skipped the step-down room, went straight to a normal hospital room for 3 days, short stay in a rehab hospital before she finally returned home. And now she's having to undergo physical therapy herself from her loving husband who is supervising this therapy. Sherry's long and flowing hair was shaved off during prep for her surgery, and she had deep circles under her gorgeous blue eyes from all the trauma. But in her characteristic sunny side up, she posted recently on Facebook, "When my bandages were removed, I looked in the mirror, and much to my family's dismay, I 100% believed that I looked like an animal called a possum." Russ, as equally optimistic, quit right back. He said, "Sherry, don't you remember when we were married, I made a vow before God and man to love you for better or for worse, for richer, for poor, for beauty, or for possum." And so their partnership continues. But as she became the patient, the patients became the caregivers in this partnership journey. For 6 solid weeks, patients brought over meals every single night, sent cards, sent texts, made phone calls, made visits. There were impassioned posts and prayers put on Facebook detailing how much they loved her and Russ. When I talked to Russ to get permission to use his story today, he told me that Sherry's manager in Atlanta called her to tell her not to worry about the clinic because the doctors were referring even more patients because of her caring partnership with them. Sherry and Russ's posts continue to showcase her great progress and the absolute love that surrounds them. And as I think about their journey, it's clear to me that we have to give help and be willing to get help ourselves. It is a give and take relationship. Along with the wonderful master's degrees you've earned, creating partnerships and connections are critical to your success and that of everyone around you. To paraphrase a quote from Pedro Arrupe, here's what he said: "Nothing is more practical than finding your passion and falling in love in a quite absolute final way. What you are in love with, what seizes your imagination, will affect everything. It will decide what gets you out of bed in the morning, what you do with your evenings, how you spend your weekends, what you read, who you know, what breaks your heart, and what amazes you with joy and gratitude. Fall in love, stay in love, and it will decide everything." My wish for all of you is that you will continue to fall in love with your profession, and that you will also fall in love with all of us whom you help and who can in turn help you. And it will decide and change everything. Good luck, and thank you so much.
It is now time to confer the degrees, and it's with great pleasure that I again introduce UAB Provost, Dr. Linda Lucas. Provost Lucas, I present to you the candidates for the conferral of degrees in Master of Science in Medical and Health Sciences, Biomedical and Health Sciences, Master of Science in Genetic Counseling, Master of Science in Clinical Laboratory Science, and Master of Science in Health Administration. Candidates for these degrees, Master of Science, please rise and remain standing. Provost Lucas, the candidates before you and others have completed all requirements for the degrees as listed in the commencement ceremony program. On behalf of the faculty of the School of Health Professions, I recommend that these degrees be conferred.
By the virtue of the authority invested in me by the Board of Trustees of the University of Alabama System, I confer upon you the particular degree for which you have been recommended, with all the rights and privileges thereunto appertaining.
Thank you. Now you may move your tassels to the left, indicating that you are now graduates. And please join me in recognizing these outstanding new graduates.
I would like to introduce Dr. Peter Anderson, Interim Chairperson of the Department of Clinical and Diagnostic Sciences.
Thank you and good afternoon. I now invite the Biomedical and Health Sciences Masters of Science candidates to come forward and receive their awards, their hoods. And I'd ask members of the audience to please hold your applause until all of the candidates have been awarded.
You have a card? Danica Joseph. Matthew Doyle Sorensen. Yvette LaShawn Ransaw. Lauren Michelle Renee Gibbs. Elizabeth Joy Elder Sandy. Corina Jade Nance. Faith Mixon Boone. Amber Shantice Foster. Quincy Maurice Jones. Gabrielle Nicole Rivers. Zachary Bruce White II. Darian Danae Wandick. Patrice Charday Paget. Marcellus Alexander Edwards IV. Jared Bruce Watson. Joseph Wayne Pugh.
Oh, okay. And so now I'd like to invite the Genetic Counseling Master of Science candidates forward to receive their hoods. And again, we ask members of the audience to wait and please hold your applause till after all the hoods have been let out.
Catherine Teresa Drasba. Colleen Ann Lentz. Chandrika Korpad. Kirsten Renee Austin. Dana Shipman, Outstanding Genetic Counseling Graduate Student.
And now, I'd like to invite the Clinical Laboratory Sciences Master of Science candidates to come forward and to receive their hoods. And again, if we can hold the applause, thank you.
Robert Anthony McManus. Victoria Brooke Moore. Kimberly Ann Kind. Li Jiang. Clarissa May Brisino. Claire Elizabeth Fields. Emily Carol Hill. Brian Blades. Brittany D. McCracken. Kelsey Leah Wilkes. Lauren Brown Spivak. Mary Elizabeth Van Soord. Taylor J. Shelby. Jason Edward Frazier. Amber Nicole Tolan. Daryl Wayne Touche. Kanigra Dean Cohill. I would like to introduce Dr. Pamela Poston, former Program Director for Healthcare Management, Associate Professor, and the UAB Quality Enhancement Plan Director.
I would like to invite the Master of Science in Health Administration candidate forward to receive his hood, and we ask that you still hold your applause.
Daniel Keith Reinman.
Let's join together and give these graduates a big hand. Yes, I'm going to give you another chance to recognize them in just a second, but before we do that, I want especially at this time to thank Paul Mosteller, our Associate Professor of Music at UAB, for the wonderful job that he did in announcing each graduate's name. That's a tough chore, and I really appreciate the good job Paul did. So let's Let's recognize him for that. Also, I've been here for 15 years, and to me, he's become the voice of our graduations. He does this every year and has to deal with literally thousands of names every year, and he's so professional and does such an incredible job. We really appreciate what he does. So now, please let me ask you one more time to congratulate this class of 2016 with your applause. Ladies and gentlemen, we want to thank you for your support of these graduates throughout their educational process and their educational journey. Most of them would not be here if it weren't for you and the things that you've done to contribute to them. Now we're almost through. We ask that in just a second, we'll ask that you all stand through the processional until we have left, the platform party, and the students have left. I should tell the students that the banners will actually be out in the various places in the reception area, and we'd encourage you to go to your banner. That will make it easier for your family members to find you and your classmates to find you. So once again, thank you all for being here. Thank you for helping us celebrate this incredible time together. And Master's Class of 2016, we are so incredibly proud of you. And again, we look forward to all the wonderful things that you're doing and will do. Congratulations. Have a great afternoon.